All right, Michael. This is the last Hellraiser installment with Doug Bradley as Pinhead. What do you think?
We'll tear your soul apart.
Don't you think that's a bit much? You see what you started? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 2005 film Hellraiser Deader. Deader than what? How the hell do I know deader than what? Now, let's get into it. Hellraiser Deader. Our movie begins in a crack house. Say no to drugs, kids. So the camera pans around this room, and the place is a mess, as crack houses typically are. And there's people laying all over the place, trash all over the place. Camera gets fixed on a girl sitting on a couch who appears to have her shit together a bit much for a crack whore. Turns out she's not a crack whore. She is a journalist, and she has put herself in this crack house in order to write an article. See her pick up the newspaper, you see the article, that explains that. She goes back to her office to talk to her boss, and for her boss plays for her a tape of somebody committing suicide and then being brought back to life by some bootleg Rick Springfield. And there are a bunch of people sitting around watching. The chick blows her brains out. Then this guy, bootleg Rick Springfield, kisses her and brings her back to life. She's got a big bullet hole in the side of her head. It's very attractive. So far, we have crack whores and bullet wound suicide. It's a very wholesome film, as you can see already. So now the boss of the reporter, by the way, I believe her name was Amy. Amy's boss offers her the story. So now she's got to go over to Romania to find the chick that gave the tape to Amy's boss. She goes over there, tracks down where this girl lives, gets into her apartment building, comes across her landlord, who's like a real slimeball type guy, makes her way into Amy's apartment. Place smells like hell. Why does it smell like hell? Because Amy is in that apartment with a rope around her neck, in her underwear, dead as a rock, sitting on the toilet. It's awesome. In Amy's hand, not Amy's hand, in that girl's hand, I don't remember what her name was, whatever, is the lament box. So, naturally, Amy needs to take this lament box with her, right? Because that's what you do. You find dead chicks, and you take the shit that they got in their hand, and you get the hell out of there. So she grabs the lament box. On her way out, she comes across the landlord again, kicks him in the dick, and beats feet out of the apartment building. Heel to ass, runs down the street, runs away. So now she's got to try and track down these people. Oh, and by the way, after these people commit suicide and they get brought back to life, they are referred to as deaders. Hence the title. So now she's got the puzzle box. Of course, she opens the puzzle box, and things ensue from there. That's it. I'm not giving you any more spoilers as to what happens. All right, so this movie, for me, pretty much falls in line with just about all of the Hellraiser movies although I didn't like Hellraiser 3, and I didn't like Hellraiser 4. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all kind of in the same category for me. I didn't love them. I didn't hate them. They were not nearly as bad as I anticipated them to be. I thought Hellraiser 3 was a turd. Same thing with 4. 4 may have been a bigger turd. But 5, 6, 7, and 8, they are what they are. Yeah, they're not bad scripts. They're reasonably well acted. You know what else I saw in this movie? Well, I didn't just see it in this movie. It was in this movie. Was almost like a crossover with Midnight Meat Train, which was also a Clive Barker thing. This girl, Amy, goes into like the subway and gets on a train. Once she gets on this train, everybody in there they're naked or they're wearing barely anything. They all got like crazy ass punk rock hairdos. They're all like emo, sad looking goth people. Their outfits, if they have on outfits, are like straps and belts. It's just full blown nudity and bondage and punk rock and people doing drugs. Very wholesome, like I said earlier. But yeah, it's all right. I mean, there's one effect in this movie. There's not a whole hell of a lot of effects either, to be honest with you. Pinhead looks great. I don't know. This is, as I said earlier, Doug Bradley's last portrayal of Pinhead. I have said in previous videos that I think that he is one of the most criminally underutilized characters in the history of horror movies. There have been 10 Hellraiser movies, 8 of which have Doug Bradley in them, and I think that if you combine his screen time of all 8 movies together, 45 minutes, maybe, something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if it was less than that, but it can't be much more than that. That actually may be generous, but Hellraiser Deader was all right. I was getting ready to say something about the effects. The effects in this movie, they are what they are, which is, again, the same thing they are in most of the Hellraiser movies. There's one towards the end one that kind of leans back to the end of the first Hellraiser movie. Guy, chains come out of nowhere to get the bad guy. They hook in his face and his arms and his torso and everything else, and they start pulling him. In the original movie, it looked a lot more convincing. One thing I never did get was when all these chains pull on these people, why do they explode? Why don't they just rip them to pieces? Which, to be quite honest with you, as a horror lover and somebody who's seen a whole hell of a lot of these things, I think it would be a lot more awesome if the chains just ripped him apart. Tear his arm off, rip his head off, rip him in half, blood everywhere, a lot more gore, a lot more practical effects, and that would be amazing. But in the first film and in this film, at the end of the film, the chains pull on these guys and they explode. As far as I know, chains are not explosive, whatever. Minor details go a long way in my world. But look, long story short, this movie's, it's nothing to write home about. It's interesting. If you sit down and watch it out, maybe you won't turn it off. I had no desire to jump up and turn it off. But if I never saw it in my life, it was an hour and a half of my life I'd have back. But whatever. I thought it was all right. And that's, like I said many, many times, the last 4 of these Hellraiser movies were just all right. Not bad, not great. Some of it's good, some of it not so good. All right, so leave me some comments down below and let me know if you feel the same way about Hellraiser Deader and the 3 previous movies that I'm not going to sit here and try and figure out the titles of. All right, I'm getting out of here. I'm very curious to see if I'm the only one who feels like that. There's no way in the world I'm the only one that feels like that. All right, I'm getting out of here. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content up to this point, please do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching, folks. See you in the next one.